Imagine someone tries to sell you a toy. They tell you, this toy is going to be worth 10 times more next year. Now, you don't know how the toy works. You don't even know who made it. But the person selling it sounds incredibly confident. They talk fast. They make it feel urgent. So, you buy it. That's it. That's the entire Wolf of Wall Street scam just dressed up for adults. Jordan Belfort didn't become famous because he was a stock market genius who understood companies. He became famous because he understood people. Here's the simple version of how it all worked. He started on Wall Street and quickly discovered a corner of the market that almost no one paid attention to. It was filled with tiny companies, with very cheap shares, and almost no rules. These were called penny stocks. Now, the companies themselves were often weak. Some of them barely even existed as real businesses. But Jordan realized something profound. If you control the story, the quality of the product doesn't actually matter. So, his first step was this: he and his team at his firm, Stratton Oakmont, would buy up massive amounts of these cheap stocks for themselves. They'd get in first, for pennies. Then, they picked up the phone when they called potential investors. They didn't talk about balance sheets or business plans. They didn't explain the companies, they explained dreams. They would tell regular people like you and me, things like, this company is about to explode, or, this is your one chance to get in on the ground floor. A classic line was, Wall Street hasn't discovered this gem yet. And here's where the real trick comes in. They intentionally created a sense of extreme urgency. This was designed to stop people from asking questions. They spoke with absolute certainty, which made any doubt feel foolish or unnecessary. They made the act of waiting, of thinking it over, feel like the most dangerous thing you could possibly do. And it worked. People bought in. As more and more people rushed to buy the stock, the price naturally went up. But it wasn't because the company was suddenly doing better or had a breakthrough product. The price rose simply because more people believed the story and were buying into the hype. Once the stock price was high enough, Jordan Belfort and his firm would quietly sell all of their shares, cashing in for huge profits. This is what's known as a pump and dump. They pumped up the excitement and the price, and then they dumped the stock onto the unsuspecting market. Everyone else who had bought in was left holding something completely worthless as the price collapsed back to its real value, which was often zero. But here's the scariest part of this whole scheme. Many of the victims never even realized they were scammed. They just thought they had picked the wrong stock or that they were bad at investing. But this wasn't just a bad investment. It was a controlled illusion. A magic trick played with people's life savings. Jordan wasn't really selling stocks, he was selling certainty. And certainty is an incredibly comforting thing to buy when the world of money feels confusing and overwhelming. That's the real reason this scam worked so well. It wasn't just because people were greedy. It was because they trusted confidence. They saw someone who sounded like they knew exactly what was going on. And they wanted a piece of that assurance. The system rewarded speed over truth. And it rewarded emotion over understanding. And this isn't just a lesson about Wall Street. It's a deeply human one. In fact, this kind of persuasion was warned about long before stock markets even existed. The Bible says in Mark 13:22, "For false messiahs and false prophets will appear and perform signs and wonders to deceive, if possible, even the elect." Notice what that warning is about. It's not about violence or chaos. It's about deception that sounds incredibly convincing. That's why real wisdom is often quiet. Real truth doesn't need to rush you. It doesn't pressure you into a corner. It doesn't need manufactured urgency to survive. It can stand on its own. Jordan Belfort did eventually go to prison, but only for a brief time. What has lasted much longer is the lesson that so many of us have ignored. Confidence is not proof. Charisma is not truth. And a sense of urgency is very often a warning sign. So if you ever feel that pressure, that push to decide fast, whether it's with your money, your beliefs, or a major life decision, just pause. That moment of pause is where discernment lives. It's your mind's best defense. If this explanation made something click for you today, you're not alone. Many people sense these patterns of manipulation before they can fully name them. If this kind of clarity resonates with you, you might enjoy it here. We explore these subtle signs in our world all the time. You're welcome to share a thought below if something stood out to you. Thanks for watching.